Well, hi everyone. Daniel Williams here, Senior Editor at MGMA, host of the MGMA Podcast Network. We are back with another MGMA Insights Podcast today, and we have a repeat guest. I can't even remember how many times we've had this guest on here, but I'm so happy to welcome back to the show Jennifer Thompson. Jennifer is Chief Executive Officer of Insight Marketing Group and just a really strong partner with MGMA, speaking, writing, providing insights, everything you could imagine, own marketing, your medical practice. Jennifer will be speaking at our upcoming MGMA Operations Conference in Las Vegas. And that conference is going to be March 2nd through the 4th. It's going to be in Vegas, so it's not too late to sign up for that, everyone. Jennifer's going to be speaking on the topic of harnessing AI and automation for next level healthcare. Jennifer, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel, and I look forward to Las Vegas here in just a month or so.
Vegas is a cool place. It's just different than just about anywhere else in the world. And I've got a lot of things to talk to you about, but you have an amazing year coming up. So just share with our audience, because a lot of them know you, and share a little bit about what you're going to be doing in the year 2025.
Yeah, 2025 is a big year for me. So I'm turning 50. I'm actually turning 50 right around the time that we're going to be at the conference. So it'll be like right in my transitional time. And then I'm headed up in April. I'm going to make the drive from Florida to Alaska, working, stopping and visiting some clients, working along the way. And then I'm going to be over at the private practice conference in the fall or in the summer. And then I'm going to head home to Florida in the fall. And then I've got a month in Italy planned for my 50th year.
You and I were talking offline and went, wow, I got a new job when I turned 50, but I didn't go to Alaska. I didn't go to Italy for a month. And then you're traveling by, what did you describe it as?
So yeah, I have an RV.
Okay.
I've gone up since COVID. I started in a small one, got a bigger one and a bigger one. And now I've got the whole thing decked out with workspace, office space, great internet. So, it should be pretty good.
That is so cool. Well, you're going to have to we're going to call you occasionally and let you report from the road. It'll be Jennifer Thompson from the road, and you can give a marketing report of what's going on from parts unknown and parts that you land in. That's so cool.
Happy to do it. And I will tell you, before we even get started, I have used AI to help me with almost all of my trip planning this year because it's been so easy.
Okay. Well, shameless plug, but what AI is your favorite? What's your go-to that you use?
There's quite a few. I like the newer renditions of ChatGPT, but I really prefer to do my research on Perplexity and my writing with Claude and Grammarly.
Okay. So cool. So cool. Because you're always cutting edge. I mean, when I ask you a question about marketing, and I have a degree in marketing, but I never really used it. One of those people that gets the degree, does something completely different. And I'm just amazed, because if I had a medical practice, you're who I would go to help me market it.
That.
Yeah. So this is the interesting thing, because I know you are an innovator and you're on the cutting edge of things. I always know you as my go-to person to really map out a plan on how to market that practice, how to get that retention, how to get branding front and center. But you're speaking on AI. So talk about where you kind of dipped the toe or dove headfirst into the deep end on AI. Tell us about that transformation.
Well, I feel like it's been a lot of sink or swim. Like we're all kind of figuring it out as we go. But plain and simple, like when it comes to marketing, you either get on board the AI train and automation train, or you get left at the station. And so we talk about it kind of twofold. One is we're all burnout. Physicians are burnout, staff is burnout. In fact, like healthcare stat reports came out with a report a couple weeks ago about AI and who's going to be using it. And the numbers show that almost 60% of doctors plan to use AI to deal with burnout and staff shortages in the next couple of years. And then you couple that with patient experience, which is really what marketing is all about, whether it's, getting the patient or dealing with the patient when they're there or post-patient follow-up. Well, Press Ganey came out with its new numbers, and 61% of people prefer that digital first experience. And so AI helps kind of solve both of those problems. It says, let's deal with burnout, but let's also deal with, patient experience. AI and automation is kind of that intersection for everything. So it's like either get on the train or get left at the station.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So how do you see generative AI changing the way practices create content and connect with patients?
It has completely changed things. So if you think about it, and this is what bothers me the most, is that for years, all we've done from a marketing perspective, not all, but one of the major focus points from a marketing perspective is just get your practice on the front page of Google. I don't care if you get yourself there because of organic traffic, if you do it through paid search, or if you really focus on like reputation and directory listings. Just own that front page. That's been the goal. Well, now with AI, we're not using Google like we used to.
No.
In fact, I find myself doing it. I'm going to ChatGPT and asking it questions that I would have asked search. And so if you want to talk about how AI is upending the way we do marketing, and from a content perspective, that's the biggest change to me, is that when we're writing content, we're having to now optimize for Google or for search, optimize for voice AI like Alexa or Siri or whatever. And then we're having to optimize for all of like the AI snippets that are showing up, through Gemini or through ChatGPT or whatever, which means we're having to use AI to help us rank for AI, which is FAQs and things like that. So let me throw out some more acronyms, FAQ, AI, you name it. But to me, that's like the biggest issue is I'm going back retroactively and changing all the content on my client sites to be optimized. We optimized years ago for voice. We didn't optimize for this latest change. Okay. And when you're looking at like the press gaining numbers from 2023 for their patient experience survey, and you're seeing that Google started losing market share from a search standpoint on where people are finding their doctor, well, that's been accelerated probably tenfold since ChatGPT came out and all the new renditions of Gen AI came out. And so really going to start paying attention to that, but we can use AI as kind of that assistant, that helper, from a creativity standpoint, but there's some real numbers that are impacting the way we market our practices. And I would say that starts with the way that search is happening now.
Okay. I've got to stay with this topic. You're blowing my mind a little bit because we had you write a chapter in the Advanced Strategies book for medical practice leaders talking about marketing the practice. And I've known you now going on, maybe 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah. It's been a minute. And exactly what you said is what I have heard from you and from others. Get on that front page of Google. Everything else, we'll figure that out, but you got to get there so you come up in that search. If you're saying that people are reaching their doctors or whatever they're doing, planning out your travel, whatever it might be, how do you adapt to that then? I'm trying to get my head around it. So how do you live in we know you get on the front page of Google, but how do you get in the front response or prompt answer of AI? How do you do that?
I'm not 100%.
Okay.
I can say that our best practice right now is you can optimize your meta description so that you'll show up because basically AI is a giant search engine. It's just scraping the internet. You optimize your meta descriptions. You make sure that your website is everything's in the form of a question because we're asking in the form of a question. Okay. And you need lots of FAQs, so lots of frequently asked questions. So if I go back and say, why does my knee hurt and do I need a joint replacement? Then I should have an FAQ series on my long form of 20 common questions around joint replacement and knee pain, so that I'm showing up on those snippets. And so it's just changed the game. We don't even know how reputation and directory listings, who are really the way we've been getting to the front page because it's how you get so much juice, how those are going to be impacted by this either. And so it's all tied together. I mean, right now it's literally like, hold on, because we're getting ready to go on the ride of our life like we were, way back in the day when the internet just started.
Right. That is so interesting. And it's so interesting because at MGMA, we've been sitting here creating 500-page books and 3,000-word articles. And we went, wait a minute, that doesn't mean we quit doing those things. We still have those, but exactly what you're saying. What's a tool? What is a checklist? What is you name it, something that is 5 ways to do this. Boom, 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 boom. And it's not in the way that we used to do it where, oh, it's a listicle or what, not for that purpose, but we need something that is solution-based. And as you're saying, it is being, I guess, the algorithms are picking it up as well, or the search engines are picking that up. And is it important to have that terminology FAQ? Is that what it needs to have? Or is it serving the purpose no matter what you're calling it? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Does nomenclature matter?
I think it would be serving the purpose no matter what, but just to cover my base, I'm going to say frequently asked questions, parentheses FAQ. And I think, it's still too early in the game.
Yeah.
But I think it always goes back to, this is anecdotal, but you just need to do a great job with everything you do, and you need to do your best and put your best foot forward. You need to have a consistent content strategy, a consistent everything across the board. And, eventually it's all going to weed itself out, because if you've been doing the right thing for 10 years as a practice, you're going to make some tweaks, but you're still going to show up. It's not like somebody who just showed up is going to surpass you. And so if you've been doing the right thing and being consistent in your marketing, you should be good, but nobody knows what the rule book is right now.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go to Vegas for a minute, Jennifer. Let's go to Vegas, because you're going to be talking about a lot of these topics at our Operations Conference. This is going to be so cool. We love that show, and we love Vegas, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. But just give us a glimpse of maybe the overarching theme of your talk, and if you want to give us a little snippet of a takeaway, some FAQ piece here that we can walk away with.
Yeah, totally. So I have brought this talk I've got tons of real world experience from clients and things from in the trenches. And I always like to go back to some data. So I've taken I've taken the most recent patient experience report from Press Ganey and the most recent report from STAT on healthcare and AI. Okay. And I've looked at the unique challenges that are being presented and the pain points. And then I've taken real world examples of things that you can do today or tomorrow in your practice to specifically address those pain points. So for example, one of the easiest things that you can do as a practice is appointment reminders, and please start doing online scheduling. We know that 61% of patients want a digital first experience. People want that ability to schedule online. And so I've got some data that I'll show at the conference that it's a practice that I work with who implemented online scheduling, 3 years ago. And in 2024, they saw 41,000 appointments scheduled online, which was a 20% year over year increase. That means 41,000 fewer telephone calls. Wow. So when you talk about burnout being that talking point, that challenge, AI and automation can solve for it. So I hope in that talk at the Ops Conference in Vegas to really look at what the data is telling us about how people are interacting with their healthcare providers, and then showing through real world examples how we can use AI and automation, not the fancy stuff down the road, but the stuff that's available right now to address those pain points.
Okay. For that online scheduling, not to plug a particular product, you can if you want, but is it through the portal? Give us an idea of where this online scheduling takes place.
These guys are doing it through their EHR.
Okay.
And it is not a great solution, but it is a solution. And everybody has a solution available to them. Sometimes it just feels like too much of a lift, but the data supports going ahead and doing the lift. Another thing that I'm going to share is I'm going through, I got some use cases on practices and providers using chatbots to communicate. Not just chatbots to communicate with patients, but chatbots to build referral relationships, to the point that you can get a chatbot propped up in a matter of a couple of days, and it's easy and it's inexpensive and it's low-hanging fruit, but you can roll it into a patient, either a patient experience strategy, or you can roll it into a physician referral strategy. Okay. And it's a different way of looking at it, but AI and automation allows us to go after it and do it very inexpensively. Some solutions are like something that, it's daunting, but some are just like inexpensive, duct tape solutions, but they work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were talking about chatbots, and one thing that I've noticed is it's not all chatbots are made alike, but I've seen the progression and the evolution of them. Um, Maybe many of our listeners will be able to feel this, but my daughter's in college in California, and Netflix used to let everybody just share a membership. You just log in, and now you log in that's not your address, and they go, "Hey, is this your new address?" And so I wanted to make sure she could get it, so I had to add a family account where it paid a little bit more, but I had to go into a chat bot and talk to it. We talked back and forth by, texting for a couple of questions back and forth. And then it realized it didn't just do the thing where they answer two questions and say, "Did I answer your question for you?" And I'm going, "Absolutely not." And I want to throw my computer through the window. It recognized that we had gotten to this end point and said, "I'm going to connect you with a human being now. And we're going to talk that out and get that done." I was just amazed at how much it had evolved. My mind keeps getting blown by the evolution of technology. When you were doing your study and doing the research through Press Ganey and other places, what else has blown your mind that's going on right now about things, or how it's created an entire revolution and an evolution of technology?
One thing that is blowing my mind is that I've seen some tools recently where AI is your after hours reception or
Okay.
your everyday reception.
Okay.
And AI through voice can have a conversation with the patient, do the entire intake or the scheduling and then the intake process directly tied to the EHR. And in some instances, when care is delivered, like follow-up care, you can bill for it. And so there's companies out there just like blowing this up. Like you look at another thing that's getting me is, so ChatGPT just released some new versions, which includes, if you have it on your phone, you can actually have a conversation with ChatGPT and strategize. So I do it sometimes in my car, where I'm just talking to ChatGPT, trying to come up with solutions, and then asking it to tell me, what are my competitors doing? What is the doctor down the street doing? How could I do this better? Can you provide me some citations? It's a real human experience. So yeah, I hear you. Like the chatbots have come a long way. They're not perfect because I'm doing one right now. It's a spreadsheet. I enter in questions and answers. The chatbot does it, but at least it goes to the next step and it is crawling the internet to also provide solutions. And then like directories, I always go back to like Google directories and my Google My Business and my Apple pages and my maps and all that. AI is able to cut the time where that used to take maybe a full-time person for a large practice and make this completely an automated process, really allowing you to get some good data about your practice, but keeping your listings clean online.
Right.
And we weren't able to do that just a couple of years ago.
I love that. And this is what I keep hearing, and it's what I'm hearing from you as well. In some cases, it may take the place of some job functions, but I'm not saying the human being, because a lot of the stuff that people in healthcare are doing is this repetitive, time-based, administrative stuff that's not why they got into healthcare, and they just, I don't want to be doing this stuff. And if we can utilize these tools to get rid of doing some of the stuff that we don't want to be doing, and then we can focus on the stuff, one, we're good at, and the other that we're passionate about. I want you to talk about that if you'd like.
Yeah, I have a good group of employees that work for me, and a lot of them didn't want to use AI at all. Right. And I said, look, AI will not replace your job. It's smart, but it's only as smart as the data that you've got. So use it as an assistant, use it as a way to be more creative. To me, like that's the way that we should be leaning into AI. And I just think there's so many opportunities out there for us to take these tools to be better and to do the things that feed our souls. Like not that spreadsheets and analytics is going to feed your soul, but there's something fun about elevating your math game
Yeah.
by dumping some spreadsheets into some closed loop AI and having it identify the trends for you so that
Yeah.
you can dive deep. And then when I'm presenting to the doctors, I can say, well, look at all these trends and they're escalating in this, and this is where the source was. And that's all AI driven. It just makes your life so much easier. And when your life's a little easier, it's a lot more fun.
It is. It is so much more fun. So, final question here then. If someone's getting started in AI in their marketing, and you may have already answered it, but what's one simple thing they could start doing this week?
I think if you're going to do one thing, start with appointment reminders. From a patient experience standpoint, set up an SMS or an email appointment reminders. It's going to reduce no-shows. It's going to help, free up staff. It's going to lead to a better experience for the patient. Even if it's AI sending them that or, an automated message, it's still a thoughtful reminder because, we forget about things.
Yeah.
And then if there's one other thing, get a chatbot on your website. Because unless you're going to make it so simple to find everything, people are looking for healthcare after hours, on the weekends, things of that nature. You're not necessarily open. Put a chatbot on there to make it super simple. And you could do that in a matter of a couple of days. There's no reason that we shouldn't be doing appointment reminders and chatbots. That's just like phase one.
Yeah, I love that. Jennifer, I always have so much fun talking to you. So thank you for joining us yet again on the show.
Thank you, and I will see you in Vegas.
I cannot wait. So everybody,
All right, Daniel.
Yeah, this has been Jennifer Thompson. She is going to be speaking at that MGMA Operations Conference. She's going to be talking on the topic, Harnessing AI and Automation for Next Level Healthcare. Her session is going to be Monday, March 3rd in Vegas. So until then, thank all of you for being MGMA podcast listeners.